State your name for the record, please.
And resident of the city of Naples. I come to you today also as a co-owner of a website called greenmedinfo.com, where we collate hundreds of thousands, well actually there's 100,000 articles from the National Library of Medicine that supports natural health. And so a quick search on our database shows that there are 248 unique abstracts of studies from the National Library of Medicine. These are peer-reviewed journal articles that talk about the devastating effects and the negative impacts of fluoride on the human body. In that, there are 26 adverse pharmacological actions that are identified, including genotoxicity, including neurotoxic issues and the like, and there's a list there for you on the third slide. Fluoride shows that it contributes to over 91 different diseases. So the friends of fluoride actually will say that it's safe and effective, and they'll say, well, we've been using it for 70 years, so we're just going to continue doing the same thing. And then they use the authority of the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the CDC, and they say, well, the CDC, and to this day, the CDC and the EPA say fluoride is safe and effective. However, when those experts are questioned under oath, there's a far different story. So under oath, for example, the EPA representative, Dr. Edwin Ohanian, is questioned about a baby formula fed receives over 100 times the amount of fluoride as a baby who is breastfed. Questioned, the answer, yes. Dr. Joyce Suji from the EPA, and I've been seated time. Do you think the recommendation to avoid the use of fluoridated water in infant baby formula is a reasonable, sound recommendation? It certainly appears to be reasonable given that the dose to infants is potentially greater than the reference dose for dental fluorosis and provides no benefit at that stage. The CDC representative, Casey Hannon, the CDC agrees with NRC that it is apparent that fluoride has the ability to interfere with the functions of the brain and the body by direct and indirect means, he's questioned, and his answer is yes. And then the EPA neurotoxicologist, Dr. Stanley Barone Jr. Does fluoride have the ability to interfere with the functions of the brain? Yes, I believe their findings are correct, he says, under oath. And then the EPA Office of Water, Dr. Joyce Donahue, is questioned under oath. There is a significant relationship between low levels of fluoride in the urine of pregnant women and ADHD symptoms in children. Her answer, yes. And this further supports the need for reassessment of current safety standards of fluoride in the United States. And what is her answer? Her answer is yes. So in the last 6 weeks, we've had two monumental events as it relates to fluoride. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services had asked the National Toxicological Program to review fluoride, and they did a 7-year review, 7 years of expert review. And what they found on the next slide is that 52 of 55 human studies found reduction in IQ from fluoridation. And 18 of 19 human studies rated low risk of bias by the National Toxicology Program found a reduction in IQ from fluoride. And I will tell you that the infants in the US, the children in the US, for the last 2 generations are the first to actually show a reduction in IQ. Since we've been monitoring this since the 1940s, there have always been increases, and it is now decreasing. Now, the Environmental Protection Agency was asked to remove fluoride from the water, and they refused, so they were taken to court. And in this court case that took over 7 years, a week and a half ago, the judge came down with his verdict, and he found that fluoride in the water does reduce IQ, and as he said, presents an unreasonable risk to lowering the IQ of children. So anybody who comes and talks about how it's safe and effective, I believe that is intellectual dishonesty, or at best, just a lack of Googling skills, because you can clearly see that the fluoride in the water is affecting the brains of our children today. And so although fluoride is codified in the Naples City Council, I am recommending that we put an immediate pause to fluoridation in the water as we further assess this issue, given the circumstances that we have just seen in the last 6 weeks from the government of the United States and the court in the United States. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next speaker